Jesus said there would be wars and rumors of wars, just like our headlines today. For the Colson Center, I'm John Stonestreet. This is Breakpoint. The top headline of the past few weeks has been the saber rattling of Moscow. And this week, Russian leader Vladimir Putin stepped even closer to war. Monday, Russian troops entered Ukraine, and Moscow formally recognized the pro-Russian breakaway parts of Ukraine as independent states. Independent of Ukraine, that is. And there will likely be further developments by the time this commentary airs. In addition to a buildup of forces, Russia has ratcheted up its rhetoric against America, against NATO, and of course against Ukraine. In his speech Monday, Putin declared that Ukraine has no real right to even exist and only lives as a colony of the West. Cross-border cannon fire has increased, along with accusations of Ukrainian terrorist activity. Russian authorities have forced ethnic Russians living in separatist regions of Ukraine to leave their homes, supposedly for their own safety, but of course it also provides an excuse to fight this war of so-called liberation. Many in the West are now being reminded that we've actually not somehow evolved beyond this kind of thing. Wars are not only fought in other less enlightened parts of the world, not only instigated by rogue agents of unstable nations. The truth is that in our small part of the world, the last several decades have been remarkably peaceable. Recent conflicts have been fought on the periphery of the world order. The wars we've seen have been, for the most part, across the sea, away from our shores, away from our lives. Now, of course, not everyone's been that fortunate. Full-scale war in Ukraine would cost tens of thousands of lives in just a matter of days. It might lead to an ongoing bloodfest in the agricultural heart of Eastern Europe. Might even result in an even greater remilitarization of the world. In fact, it's even possible that this could be the start of something the world has not seen in 80 years, a great power war. If the industrial might and technological prowess of the world's biggest nations are brought against, not ill-equipped insurgents in deserts or jungles, but against those equally capable of hitting back, well, millions would die. All of our illusions of being invulnerable to real destruction would end. Now look, that's a worst-case scenario, to be sure, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. These kinds of dark tidings lead to fear, not just for our lives, but that nearly everything we consider to be sure in this world could come crashing down around us. What if the personal peace and affluence we think of as our birthright is relegated to the history books? When Christ was on earth, he offered hope to people whose situation was more defined by fear than by affluence. He also knew that their world was about to be further rocked by turmoil, the likes of which they'd not seen. And he knew that he would not be with them, at least in person. In fact, he issued a somewhat vague warning about what was to come. Wondering what those words meant, his disciples asked for further direction, clarification, and hope. It's in Matthew 24. Here's how Jesus replied. See to it that no one leads you astray, for many will come in my name, saying, I am the Christ. They will lead many astray. And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not alarmed, for this must take place. But the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All of these are but the beginning of the birth pains. Jesus certainly pulls no punches, does he? He issues no false promises of world peace. He assures them that there would be wars between nations, there would be trouble and calamity, and it would just be the beginning. And yet, despite all that chaos, he said that it's possible for us to not lose our way. Or as he put it elsewhere in John 16:33, I have said these things to you that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world. It's been 20 centuries since he said those words, and there have been wars and rumors of wars. There have been revolutions and famines and earthquakes and plagues, and yet through it all, it's still true. Christ has overcome the world. Christ remains on the throne of the universe. This is no Pollyannish hope of heaven. The fear's real because the danger's real. And the Bible never treats those things as imaginary. Like the Hebrew children proclaim, God does not promise to keep us from the fire, but he does promise to be with us in there as well as out here. Look, it may be that tomorrow this whole global threat fizzles out, and we sigh collectively at what a close call it was. Or it may flame up into a conflagration, the likes of which few alive today have seen. It's not trite to say that we don't know what the future holds, any more than it's trite to say that we know who holds the future.
because we do. And whatever our moment entails, He's called us to it, to play our role in His greater story. For the Colson Center, I'm John Stonestreet with Breakpoint.